Good afternoon, good afternoon, everyone. I'd like to welcome you to the County Council meeting on this day, August the 11th at 2025. Now we will have our Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Now we'd like to have a motion to approve the agenda.
So moved. Second.
Okay. If a motion and second that we approve the agenda, all in favor? Opposes? Let the record show 7-0. Now we have invocation from Councilman Gobach.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Heavenly Father, we thank you for this beautiful country you have given us, this beautiful county you have given us. We thank you for the administration staff and employees and the citizens, especially those who are engaged with our government. We ask that you keep us all safe and healthy, Lord. We thank you for the newly renovated courthouse, which looks really, really nice, and those who made it happen. We thank you for the recent economic development wins, and please guide us all to work together as future development comes our way and we make the best decisions for this county. In Jesus' name we pray, amen.
Amen. Thank you, Mr. Gobach. Now we have the approval of the minutes, regular meeting on 7/14/25. Can I get a motion? Got a motion and a second. All in favor? Opposed? Let the record show 7-0. Now we have a public presentation, a proclamation recognizing Mr. Chris Jackson, the first high school barber in the nation, #1 high school barber in the nation. Is he here?
If you would allow, if we could push that back. He hasn't quite got here yet.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. Okay,
Yeah, we're still waiting for him. You can move to the second one.
we will wait till he gets here. Okay. Next is Hoof and Paul presentation, Ms. Kathy Falk.
On? There we go. Now it's on. My name is Kathy Falk. I'm a resident of Fairfield County and a member and president of the Hoof and Paw Benevolent Society. I'm here tonight with Boo Major. Boo, why don't you go ahead and come on up here? I'm here tonight with Boo Major, also a resident and member, representing all of the members of Hoof and Paw to make 2 donations. The first is to the Fairfield County Animal Shelter for the funding of spay-neuter surgeries for our shelter animals. This donation will not only provide critical monetary support to our shelter, but will also make it easier and more cost-effective for our rescue partners to pull animals from our shelter into their rescue program. This is a win-win. At this time, we would like to present our second donation this year in the amount of $7,250 for spay-neuter funding to Ms. Joanne Shaw, the director of the shelter. Joe?
Thank you, Ms. Falk, for that presentation.
Oh, I'm not quite done.
Oh,
One more.
you snuck up on me.
I know it. I'm so sorry. Now, unfortunately, we do have one more donation that we want to make into Fairfield County, but unfortunately, Samira Yagi, who was going to accept this check, was unable to attend at the last minute. However, I do want to tell you about it because I'll be making this presentation to her very, very soon, and it's for good work in Fairfield County. So, Hoof and Paw is passionate, as you all know, about the benefits of spay-neuter in our community, in our shelter, etc. We truly believe, and research shows, that it is the most effective way to solve our overpopulation problem. The number of strays, owner surrenders, neglect and abuse cases in our shelter is a direct result of unaltered animals. In the past, we have had little or no resources in this county for affordable spay-neuter surgeries, but times have changed. So, tonight, it was our intention tonight to make this presentation, and we will be, as I said, because of Roscoe, to support their work in the community to provide free spay-neuter surgeries through their SNP van program. This will be our second donation this year to Ms. Samira Yagi, the founder of Because of Roscoe, in the amount of $2,000 to provide free spay-neuter surgeries for our community pets. Council, I want to thank you so much for your time, your support, and commitment to improve animal welfare in Fairfield County. We appreciate you, and we appreciate the work you're doing. So I want to thank you so very much. And I'll be catching up with Sam very soon to give her the check and take a picture and, all of those things. Thank you all so much. Good night.
Thank you. I understand Mr. Jackson is here now. Dr. Robertson.
Yeah, I know, right? Great. All right. This is a proclamation recognizing Chris Jackson, the #1 high school barber in the nation.
Yes, ma'am.
Whereas Mr. Chris Jackson is a 2025 graduate from Fairfield Central High School and has earned national recognition after winning first place in the high school barbering competition. The 2025 Skills USA National Leadership and Skills Conference was held in Atlanta, Georgia on June 23rd through 27, 2025, and is the largest gathering of America's future skilled workforce and the ultimate recognition of excellence in career and technical education. Mr. Jackson competed against 31 top high school barbers from across the United States. He executed exceptional technical skills, creativity, and professionalism, which secured him the gold medal and the title of the #1 high school barber in the nation. Throughout the competition, he demonstrated industry-level precision in cutting, styling, and client communication, exceeding national standards and impressing judges with his mastery and poise under pressure. Mr. Jackson's accomplishment comes through countless hours of training, a deep commitment to his craft, and the support of his instructor and hometown mentors. Mr. Jackson's wind spreads to and through Fairfield County and is particularly a source of pride for the Fairfield County School District, whose mission is to prepare students for success in both college and careers. Now therefore be it proclaimed that Chairman Clarence Gilbert, District 7, and the members of the Fairfield County Council would like to congratulate Mr. Chris Jackson on his phenomenal achievement. We are so very proud to have you as a part of our community and are looking forward to your future successes. So ordered this 11th day, August 2025.
Ma'am, thank you.
Council, real quick before you come down and take a picture. Mr. Marvin McKnight, his teacher, actually has one more presentation for him to add to that.
Unfortunately, on the evening of the competition awards, we didn't get a chance to stay to the award ceremony because Chris and myself and two other colleagues, we had to leave to go to a national competition in California for FBLA. So we left not knowing that Chris actually would be the winner. Home packing, not realizing again that Chris would be the winner. My phone dinged, looked at the video, saw first place. I thought it was a joke. We called to make sure, called Chris, and Chris said it wasn't nothing but God, but he didn't get a chance to get his award presented to him. So I want to present it to him now, his gold medal from Skills USA.
Mr. Jackson, I want to say that, Mr. Jackson, I want to say that we are extremely, extremely proud of you. You keep up the good work, follow your mentor there, and you're going to go places in this life, man. You just do the right thing. God is with you. Thank you. Next, we have the Animal Control Ad Hoc Committee presentation, Ms. Katie Titus.
Good evening. Everybody hear me? Yep. Good evening, Mr. Chairman and members of council. My name is Katie Titus Odom, and I'm speaking today as the chairman of the Fairfield County Animal Control Ad Hoc Committee in order to report on our work and recommendations over the last several months. I'll start off first with a brief summary of the background and history of the group. As you are aware, this body established the Animal Control Ad Hoc Committee with 7 members representing diverse stakeholder groups, with members appointed at its March 7th, 2025 meeting. The committee was established for the sole purpose of reviewing the current animal control ordinance, ordinance number 737, and the draft amendment to the current regulations, draft 838, in order to make recommendations for improvements and alterations to county council. The roster of members appointed included Mr. Jerome Armstrong, Ms. Liz Bankhead, Ms. Ann Corral, Dr. Roger Gaddy, Ms. Amy Griffin, myself, Katie Titus Odom, and Ms. Laura Thomas. The group was expressly prohibited from making recommendations regarding the operations of the Animal Control Department or changes to the current animal shelter or its operations. The committee was given 120 days from the date of creation to complete its review and issue a report. At a later date, May 27th, we were given a 10-day extension graciously by Chairman Gilbert. The ad hoc committee first met and organized on April 9th, 2025, with myself elected as chair and Laura Thomas elected as vice chair. From there, the committee quickly set about its work with subsequent meetings on April 23rd, May 14th, June 4th, June 17th, June 25th, July 2nd, July 9th, and finally July 15th. The committee ultimately met a total of 9 times, with each meeting lasting about 2 hours, in some cases longer. That equates to well over 18 hours of active session. All 7 members of the committee attended every meeting. Again, I want to emphasize 100% attendance from your volunteer group here, and put countless hours of work in outside of those public meetings as well, reviewing best practices around the state as well as the country, collecting feedback from stakeholders, drafting language, examining proposals, and having difficult and complex discussions. Members conducted their work and discussions with the utmost decorum and dignity. Members, their perspectives have been greatly appreciated, and council is to be absolutely commended on selecting an outstanding group of dedicated and knowledgeable volunteers. Thank you. While I'm sharing thanks, I'd absolutely be remiss if I did not sincerely thank Mr. Carpenter and Ms. Shaw, as they spent enormous time outside of their normal working hours staffing our committee, sharing backgrounds on current practice and collecting data. Their time and attention cannot be overstated, and our county is extremely lucky to have such dedicated staff. In working towards its mission and purpose, the committee continuously stayed focused on examining the existing ordinance 737 and proposed draft 838. Public comment was limited, as members were asked from our first meeting to streamline all feedback as we represented different constituencies. Various presentations, data, and proposals were sent to members via email, and the feedback was then presented by the individual committee members at our meetings. Various drafts were considered and circulated towards the latter stages of the committee's work. Ultimately, a draft proposal was put forward to the committee for its consideration and final votes. I'll first share some numbers with you and then summarize the changes voted on in this proposal. 737, the current ordinance, has 22 total sections. The ad hoc committee proposal deletes 1 section and adds 4 sections for a new total of 25 sections. Of the 25 sections proposed in the draft before you, 22 passed unanimously, 7-0. 22 of 25 sections passed, as we made sure to vote on those individually. So I just want to emphasize that point. The 3 remaining sections passed 6-1. And I will, again, go through those individually. I think that those votes should absolutely indicate to you that, by and large, the document before you is a consensus and compromise document. With that, I will jump straight into a summary, and I'm going to try and be as concise as I can. Hopefully I don't go too long, but I do want to make sure you all have the information and background from the committee. So I will go through all of our changes. I hope the committee has the draft document somewhere. If not, that will be sent to you at some time, and I'm happy to share my remarks as well as this summary with the committee after tonight. 4-1 is the definitions section. The changes made by or recommended by the ad hoc committee include changing the definition of at-large to include an exemption for dogs participating in events, official events, so trials or training. Added a commercial pet breeder and commercial purpose definition, and I will go into that later. We moved the definition of dangerous or vicious animal from the section where it had existed previously to the definitions section for clarity. Changed the word, there had previously been a definition of kennel. We added the word dog before it. Added definitions of fowl and livestock, which had not existed previously. Added a definition of sterilized and a definition of unincorporated area of the county. The next section, and again, I want to emphasize that section passed 7-0 unanimously. Next section, 4-2, dangerous or vicious animals. The changes included requiring that pens have a top and that the area containing a dangerous animal must be clearly marked. So minimal changes there, passed 7-0. Section 4-3, running at large, wording was changed for clarification on that, just minor changes there. Most of the at-large section was deemed sufficient, but it did include some changes for training. That passed 7-0. Rabies control, minimal changes included there, including wording to reflect state law. DHEC changed to Department of Public Health to reflect the new agency name. Allows county to specify whether tags are worn versus a certificate. So some updates there. That passed 7-0. Section 4-5, substantial change here. This is the section that includes the proposed mandatory microchip. This is what I would say would be one of the larger proposals on behalf of the ad hoc committee. So in addition to requiring a collar and ID, it would require that every dog owned in the county be microchipped by the time it is 6 months old, and that chip must be registered to the owner. So that is a requirement implemented in Section 4-5. And again, we heard from many stakeholders that will allow lost pets to be reunited with their owners more quickly and efficiently, thereby reducing the occupancy at the shelter, freeing up space, and allowing more efficiency getting pets back to their owners there. 4-6, which is the removal of excrement, no changes there. I should have mentioned, sorry, the microchip passed 7-0 unanimously by the committee. 4-6, removal of excrement, no changes, 7-0. 4-7, injured or diseased pets, updated to reflect emergency contacts. Excuse me, hold on just a moment here. Yes, we allowed that if an animal is struck, that an individual can notify 911 or emergency dispatch versus just the animal control office. So just some kind of wording updates there. That passed 7-0. Next section, nuisance animals, section 4-8. We added a specific offense of harassing, chasing, or killing livestock or fowl, which had not existed previously. There had been ways around that, but wanted to certainly specify that for our agricultural owners, that would be a nuisance. We wanted to also make sure that wording was changed to require an owner to fully resolve an issue as opposed to just abate an issue. Also changed some of the wording from animal to dog and cat. Those changes passed unanimously 7-0. The next section, 4-9, animal care generally. This is our first section that did not pass unanimously. This passed 6-1. I will go through the changes and list why. The changes included allowing for animal dye. There are certain competitions whereby people use safe animal dye if it's species specific and approved for that animal. So we wanted to make sure that was allowed. We specified that it would be unlawful to leave a dog or cat in a crate, a wire, pet carrier, or similar small size enclosure on a porch or in a yard, and exposed to inclement weather such as excessive heat, cold, or rain. I think we've all seen photos of animals being stuck in an enclosure with no appropriate accommodations, and that can lead to some really horrific conditions. So we expressly outlawed that. We added the similar exemption that I've mentioned for dogs in training, hunting, or training events for at-large purposes. Then we get to another kind of substantial change here where we recommended requiring all dogs that are placed on a trolley system. I believe the council will recall that was a substantial compromise made in years past, changing from chaining to the trolley system. The committee is recommending that it be mandatory spay-neuter for all dogs on a trolley system, specifically. So those dogs are generally housed full-time outdoors, and so that is a differentiation and a departure from the past, but felt that often cases, those pets, again, may be more difficult to notice if they're in season or breedable. They may have access to more at-large animals and just be much more vulnerable to unplanned breeding. So the committee's recommendation is for a mandatory spay-neuter for all dogs 6 months of age or older on a trolley system. So again, that section passed 6-1 with Ms. Griffith voting no. The next section, 4-10, care of animals during transport. We removed 36 consecutive hours. The committee struggled with this section because of interstate commerce issues, crossing different county lines. How is it enforceable? But we did want to make sure that all pets were cared for appropriately during transit. So we left the section in but removed some specific language relating to the hours that they may be created during transportation. That passed 7-0. 4-11, confinement in motor vehicles, very minimal changes there, passed 7-0. 4-12, seizure and right of entry, very minor changes, changing language from it is suspected to reasonable suspicion, put in line with some other state law. 7-0 there. 4-13, performing animal exhibitions, passed 7-0, minimal changes, including specifying circuses, zoos, and carnivals. 4-14, keeping of wild animals, no changes recommended, that passed 7-0. Impounding, section 4-15, that minimal changes to reflect state law there, that passed 7-0. The next section that has substantial changes is 4-16, redemption, and that is one of our 3 sections that was not unanimous. So that was a 6-1 vote, again with Ms. Griffith voting no. I'm going to go through these changes here, but again, this would basically allow for a sterilization exemption. It departs from the current exemptions, which include outdated references to hunting animals, a DNR registry, which is not used anymore. So they're attempting to get at exemptions for AKC or hunting dogs. Really was no way to get at that. And in addition, many of the members felt that, you know, if an animal is, if an owner is not necessarily participating in certain events, they should still have the ability, if they're responsible, to have that animal returned intact. So what the committee recommended here is a tiered system, similar to what has been seen in some other counties. And that would allow for a sterilization exemption in order to redeem the animal if the animal is not dangerous or vicious, so they do not qualify. If a magistrate allows an animal to be returned or redeemed, it won't qualify for that sterilization exemption. It must be spayed or neutered. And if it's been redeemed twice previously for running at large, it no longer qualifies. And if the required fees are not paid. But if an owner elects to pay a certain fee that would be set by council, an owner would have up to 2 times to redeem that animal intact. And the committee specifically recommended that council, while we cannot recommend or set fees, that council set those fees high enough to encourage sterilization. So, for example, if you were to set that fee at, say, $200, most owners would say, I'll take the spay neuter, or whatever amount the council may see as a fit burden. But for an animal that, you know, is a $10,000 performance animal that the babysitter let get out of the gate, or the utility man, and you know, they have basically 2 strikes. That happens twice, and then you no longer qualify for that exemption. So we felt that that was more equitable across the board for folks, and mistakes happen. And I think council members also heard a lot in their public testimony in 838 about the occurrences that had happened in the past where mistakes were made. So we wanted to take that seriously. I know that is something y'all will likely hear a good bit about, but I think our goals were equity and taking account for certain situations that could not be predicted. So I think we would want to emphasize that if council were to go that route, a fee should be set high enough to encourage that sterilization, and if an owner really wants it and has the resources, then they'll make it happen and get them out intact. So again, that's the explanation there. That passed, again, 6-1, one of our 3 non-unanimous sections. Next section here, 4-17, interference with animal control, no changes, passed 7-0. 4-18, complainant's ID to remain confidential, no changes, 7-0. 4-19, registration of exotic pets, no changes, passed 7-0. 4-20, closely populated areas. This was the one section that the committee recommended deletion. This we felt was totally unenforceable. It set an arbitrary animal limit within a certain amount of closely populated area, which is defined as basically seeing or hearing neighborhood residences, and just didn't feel that it was enforceable without certain judgment calls made there. So the committee voted unanimously 7-0 to strike that and felt that certain city or county other ordinances would be applicable there in terms of nuisance laws. The new Section 420 recommended by the committee is dog kennels and pet shops. Pretty substantial changes here. We recommended that it be changed from a license by the Animal Control Office, license and registration. We recommended putting that in line with all applicable federal, state, or local laws. All dog kennels and pet shops shall be constructed, permitted, registered, or licensed, inspected, and operated in accordance with all applicable federal, state, or local laws. So essentially putting it in line with the other existing, whether or not it be business licenses, if the council was to consider those in the future, it would allow for evolution. This language would allow for evolution as the county makes new policy changes there. That section passed unanimously 7-0. Another section, new section 4-21. This is the third and final non-unanimous section, which lays out a new pet registration requirement. I do want to be clear that this is not like many of the other county pet registration requirements we've seen. This would be a one-time for the life of the animal registration, not an annual registration, and not a licensure requirement. It would require any owner of a pet to register that animal, again, for the one time with animal control, provide proof of rabies, provide proof of that mandatory microchip that we implemented, and prepare the form. We did discuss that we felt that this would be a very good educational opportunity for the Animal Control Office to have a touch with a new pet owner, share resources that are available for them within the county, low cost, spay neuter, further resources, and also allow the county to, again, more quickly reunite pets with lost owners if that be the case. Would want to emphasize that part of our discussion was if council was to move forward with such a pet registration, that our thought would be that the fee should be non-exorbitant. We did not want to recommend making pet ownership prohibitive in any way, and this being a very incremental step towards registration, felt that it should be non-onerous, and we should not try to, via financial means, try and overly limit pet ownership within the county. And so, some of the amounts tossed out were, $10. Now, we were also hoping that if that was implemented, all of that revenue would hopefully be able to go to the Animal Control Office as well. Again, I don't want to stray too far from the committee's mission and purpose, but those were just a couple brief discussions we had in the rationale there. So that passed 6-1 with Ms. Bankhead voting no. And so again, that is the last of our non-unanimous sections. 422, commercial pet breeder. This is a new requirement. I think folks were hoping this would be aimed at getting at some of the puppy mills that may exist. And it does require that, requires that pet breeders must get permission from the Fairfield County Animal Control. I do want to specify that those breeders would have to be breeding for specifically a commercial purpose. So they would have to be making money, which many hobbyist breeders don't, and then they would also have to have 3 or more breeding animals in their home. So it would not apply to those single stud dog owners. They would not have to qualify for a commercial pet breeder license. I know that came up a lot in our previous discussions of 838. The goal in establishing this commercial pet breeder really was to target those money-making enterprises that do breed routinely and do it for financial gain. So again, that corresponds back to the definitions. I would encourage folks, as they're discussing this, to make sure that they're being accurate with those definitions if they think that they may or may not fall in that category. That passed unanimously, 7-0. Section 423, sale of animals or pets. This is a new section that would require certain pets can't be basically sold at flea markets or roadsides. Does not apply to livestock, just pets, and you can't sell any animals younger than 8 weeks old. Passed unanimously, 7-0. Penalties, we made some changes here that would allow, versus specifying a certain penalty, it would allow up to the maximal amount punishable by law. So this ordinance can change as state law changes, and we are hoping as a group that we are able to prosecute offenders of our ordinance up to the maximal amount. Then last, and that passed 7-0, last but not least, a new section that states if anything conflicts with state law, the animal control officer may choose whether or not to enforce the provisions of the chapter or state law. And none of us are attorneys, so definitely look forward to Mr. Morgan taking a look and making sure everything squares appropriately. With that, I will wrap up a couple of my comments here. I urge you to consider the document before you as first and foremost a strong consensus between various diverse stakeholders. As I know you have all experienced over the years, policymaking in an area which contains many passionate voices as people's beloved pets is a very delicate balance. Pets can function in various capacities, including but not limited to being part of a full-time dedicated agricultural team, enormously valuable and trained partners in hobby and sport, and of course, best friends and couch potatoes. A one-size-fits-all approach will never be the solution to the unlimited ways that pets can broaden and fulfill our lives. Given the breadth of this impact, as well as the myriad of ways we can partner with our pets, public policy making should be focused on ensuring the necessary health and safety of the animals themselves and the communities in which they reside. As we began our work and first started reviewing what existed in both state law and county ordinance, we discovered that many of the nefarious activities such as dog fighting, puppy mill type breeding, and allowing animals to run at large are already prosecutable under law. Pursuing that line of thought went outside the scope of our mission and purpose, and therefore was not considered as part of our work. But since I have a moment, I will just take this opportunity to personally advocate for an increased will to take the crimes we already have on the books seriously and prosecute violators to the fullest extent of the law. We must at some point have an honest conversation about shelter operations, coordination with law enforcement, and how to bolster the ability to identify and hold bad actors accountable. Turning back to the rationale of the committee, members also sought to recognize the unique and individual nature of Fairfield County, making progress toward our shared goal of improving the welfare of animals while not inequitably infringing upon the rights of citizens who, by and large, seek first the well-being of their pets. Council heard loud and clear during the public hearing for proposed ordinance 838 that the citizens of this county demand that we avoid the easy solution of broad government overreach. A more tailored, incremental, and appropriate approach towards progress is required. The committee heard me state on multiple occasions that public policy making is a balance between upholding the rights of the majority who are law-abiding citizens and giving government the tools to prosecute those bad actors who have no intention of following the law in the first place. I urge council to seriously consider the work product before you today, which is a true compromise resulting from a diversity of opinions and stakeholders from throughout our own Fairfield County. The proposal before you today will give our county additional tools in its toolbox to help reunite lost pets with owners, cut down on puppy mill operations and dogfighting, and further penalize bad actors. I respectfully request your consideration for future proposal of this request and stand ready to answer any questions.
We're fighting over who goes first. Thank you, Katie, for you and the whole ad hoc committee for the time you spent on this. Obviously, you put a lot of time and effort into this, so we all appreciate that. I just have one question. In my experience, when we had a problem at our work, we had a kind of a simple process we would go through mentally. First is get the problem, second is get the solution, and third was get it done. So I look at the ordinance as a solution to a problem. So my question is simply, did your committee at the beginning of your effort identify a specific problem that the county has that you were trying to solve, and did that kind of guide you throughout this process?
So I will say, and, you know, again, my personal opinion is we were somewhat limited just because of the limitation on, I'm a very black and white person, and I think the call and the specified mission and purpose, which was limited to the language before us in 737 and 838, did limit that discussion. We had tertiary discussions regarding education, resources, but we kind of had to shut those down because, again, we were very specifically and adamantly requested to focus on language in the ordinance. And I think many of us wanted to talk about an under-resourcing problem, and which, again, I think, you know, the lack of staff to enforce the ordinance. Because as I mentioned here, most of this is already illegal. If you go to the animal cruelty and neglect section here, both here and in state law, which we reviewed, it's almost all illegal now. The issue, and this is my personal opinion, the issue is that we either don't have the will or we don't have the resources to prosecute the violators, because you can now. And so I think, you know, now part of that also is, you know, educating folks on resources. You know, I think Fairfield County, I mean, we're very blessed to have groups like Hoof and Paw, and we've got the low cost vet clinic that just was stood up thanks to the work of a lot of dedicated and diligent folks and volunteers. And I think those things are starting to incrementally make progress. It's going to take some time, but to me, it comes down to will and resources. And I think we did what we could as a group to try and make a compromise that would make people happy and that would try and take incremental steps to allow further prosecution of the violations in a reasonable way. But I think if you really wanted to get down to it, if we had all the people in the world and we had all the time in the world, and I mean, you could go after these people now. Yeah.
I just wanted to say thank you to you and all the other committee members for all of your hard work and dedication.
Absolutely. Well, I stand ready to assist everyone in further explanation. Or I haven't shared the summary. Would anyone like that, or is whatever y'all need? I know y'all get the document from Mr. Morgan, so thank y'all.
Thank you for your report. Now we're down to public comment session. Dr. Roberts, will we have any speakers?
Yes, sir, Mr. Chair, members of council, Dr. Carrolley.
Mr. Chairman and members of the County Council, my name is Dr. Joey Carrolley. I'm a approximately 30-year resident, a few months shy of that, living right down the road from Mr. Pauly on 321. I have an office on South Congress Street for the last 14 years. I'm here for a road name change, which was approved by the Planning Board last month. And I didn't know if you had any questions. I said I'd be here if there was any questions that needed to be answered. It's a property that used to be called Kingswood 1, and there's a Kingswood Drive. I'm requesting the name change from Kingswood 1 to Lake Carrolley Drive. That's my last name. I have ownership, my wife and I, of 42 lots out of the 46 lots. I did have Dr. Stuck, Chris Marsutio, and 2 other residents that have property there all sign off to approve it. So I ask your blessing to do that so that I can move forward. A couple of those lots now have been under contract for Scout Manufacturing for their personal property executives. I'd like to move forward with it. If anyone has any questions, I'm here to answer them.
Dr. Crowley, we're not able to engage in conversation during public comments, but thank you very much.
Thank you.
Amy Griffith.
Hi, good evening. My name is Amy Griffith, and I was recently on the ad hoc committee. Tonight, you've heard a lot about the animals in our county. I promise my intention is not the same as the others who have spoken before me. This is going to be a hot topic for the next several months, and there are going to be a lot of emotions surrounding the proposed new ordinances we created on the ad hoc committee. All that I am going to ask of you is that before you make any decisions, please take 30 minutes of your time and go physically inside the animal shelter, walk around the buildings, and when you go, take a moment to be alone. Take in the sights, breathe in the smells, and ask yourself, how does this make you feel knowing that you hold the power to change it? It's easy to read the ordinances we have proposed, but without going to the shelter and spending a few moments on the front lines, you will never know the true intent behind the words written on those pages. All the animals in the shelter are a symptom of the problem that is in our community. Tightening up our ordinances will create resolutions. Again, I urge you to go to the shelter before our next council meeting so you are 100% prepared to make those decisions. If you would like for me to personally take you, I would be privileged to do so. On a different note, I've spoken with the town of Winsboro's new mayor, Demetrius Chapman, who couldn't be here tonight, but has given me his permission to speak on his behalf, and he has expressed that the new ordinances, once approved by council, will be taken to the town council to vote on to mirror the county. So this is going to be a huge step forward in the unity of the town and the county for better animal welfare. If I may answer any of your questions publicly or privately, you all have my information, and I will continue to fight the good fight for the underprivileged animals and citizens of our community. Thank you.
Randy Bright.
Randy Bright, Ridgeway, District 1. There's an old axiom that states that an informed citizenry is a citizenry that can improve democracy, growth, and progress in its community, working hand in hand with the governing bodies. This group recently, or many in this group recently attended a very informative, based upon the information that's online, annual conference at Wild Dunes. There are many interesting sessions and programs that we can all benefit from, and we'd like to hear from this group how you're going to apply these learnings to managing our government to a more prosperous democracy. Among those learnings were the financing of projects, very important, something that we've failed in the past and are still paying for. Other things are educating and engaging citizens, measuring progress of the county government. How do you know how fast you're going, how far you're going, how much gas you have, unless you have a dashboard to measure it? And we haven't done that in the past. There are other interesting aspects to keep the county citizenry informed. The most vital project in the history of this county needs an update, and I'm talking about the sewer plant. Not only an update on how's progress, but also an update on how much money do we have that's being held for the sewer project. Is it enough money? And if it's not going to be enough, do we need to do something so that we can afford this must-have imperative? Other interesting things that we would like follow-up on is what are we going to do with the old administrative building that's been sitting idle for over 2 years on vital, expensive property that we could turn into something for the citizens, either by repurposing it, but it was so bad that we had to build this building, so that would be very expensive and difficult. But it certainly is property that's valuable and could be used for the benefit of this community. So please keep us in the loop, please keep us updated, and engage your citizens and educate your citizens as the session that you just attended in Hilton, or not in Hilton Head this time, in Isle of Palms, encourages all counties to do. An informed citizenry is a positive impact on democracy, growth, and prosperity for a county. Thank you.
No one else signed up to speak, Mr. Chair.
We'd like to thank everyone that spoke tonight. Now we're down to public hearing, which is none. Next is ordinance, resolution, and orders. A, resolution 2025-9. Dr. Roberts.
A resolution by Fairfield County Council authorizing the name of an unnamed private road to Hickory Hills Court.
Okay, a motion is second that we name this Hickory Hill Court. Are you prepared to vote? All in favor? Opposed? Let the record show 7-0.
9B, resolution number 2025-10, a resolution by Fairfield County Council authorizing the renaming of the private road known as Kingswood Hill Drive to Lake Carolee Drive.
You heard the reading? The motion? Second? No second, that's dead. Next down, board and commission minutes, none. Board and commission appointments, Fairfield County on Aging, Ms. Amy Griffith, District 6. Can we get a motion? The motion is seconded. Ms. Amy Griffith be for the Fairfield County on Aging. Are you prepared to vote? All in favor? Let the record show 7-0. Old business, none. New business, none. County Administrator Report. Mr. Carpenter.
Mr. Chair, members of council, my report tonight, I've got a couple things to share with you. The first is I wanted to give an update on the trip recently that myself, the chairman, and Ms. Ann Broadwater, Director of Economic Development, had the opportunity to take in Turkey. And recently a company, Mega Metal Company, located in Fairfield County. And, yeah, sorry about that. 15 years is still kind of hard to sometimes overcome. And so I want to talk about the positive impact that we had. So the purpose of this trip was to strengthen trade relations with Turkish industry leaders, to explore investment and partnerships opportunities with this company, Mega Metal, to promote Fairfield County as a hub for advanced manufacturing, and to encourage bilateral economic growth and cultural exchanges. You see in front of us right there is the team that went over there in front of their corporate headquarters. I'd point out to you that even though they're not currently active in the United States, Fairfield County, they've already got our flag up there. They're very excited about coming, and they wasted no time to add that to the countries that they're represented in. So let me tell you about this company that we went over and got to know more about. For over 20 years, they've been in what is referred to as oxygen-free electrolytic copper wire production. And they're a leader in the world in superfine wire production in Europe. They have facilities in Kayseri and Istanbul, Turkey, and Ridgeway, South Carolina, as they have already added to their locations. They export to 30 countries around the world. They serve industries, automotive, energy, aerospace, medical equipment, and household goods. So when they come to Fairfield, they're going to be locating in a 91,000 square foot facility on 34 acres. This building was built by the county as a spec building. It gave us the ability to recruit this company. Without this spec building, they would not have been here. This was one of the fastest, if not the fastest, decisions I've been involved with in my career. In roughly 120 days, they went from start to finish. And without having a building ready to go, they would not have been here. Phase 1 starts in January as far as production. They're already under construction, however, right now. 27.5 million pounds of their capacity, with phase 2 starting in January 28th, another 55 million pounds of annual capacity. And this would strengthen the U.S. supply chain, something which our president has declared to be critical in our ability to compete worldwide. So the production line you see there, and their facility in Turkey was over 500,000 square feet, significantly larger than this will be initially, though they do intend to grow it. And that was one of the outcomes from this trip, was their intention to expand their facility here and to grow to meet the demand in the United States. So coming here, they're going to be investing $34 million in phase 1 and hiring 135 people. And these are going to be good jobs. These are industrial manufacturing jobs. These are not minimum wage jobs. They'll be paying good benefits. And an example of the kind of workplace environment that they offered, in their factory they run as a foundry would run, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 3 shifts. They provided all meals to their employees with a chef on site and a cafeteria, and made sure that the employees' needs were taken care of as best they could. A very good company, the kind of company we want to recruit to Fairfield County. So the impact for this county is going to be job creation across manufacturing, logistics, and administration. They're already looking for local suppliers, working with our chamber and others to find people to provide services to them. Of course, increased tax revenue, supporting other projects in the community, and our growing reputation as a center for international manufacturing. So the contingent we sent over, we met with their senior leadership, members of their board of directors, their plant managers, their international marketing people, HR directors, to talk to them. And they talked to us. They wanted to make sure that we understood the kind of company that they are and that they would be here, and to share with us their strong commitment that when they do something, they do it for life. This is a company that is family-owned, into its second generation of family ownership. It is a privately held company, and that allows them to make decisions for the long term. They were constantly making sure that we knew that in Turkey things last thousands of years. So it's not a community that does things quickly or looks at things with short-term returns. They're going to work with our local colleges and training centers, advanced manufacturing training programs, high-tech job opportunities for our residents, and internships and apprenticeship programs for our students as well. So the potential, as I said, they're already talking their next phase of growth. Growing demand for copper wire and EVs, electric vehicles, renewable energy and electronics, and we are positioned with them and others to attract related industries. As a growing expansion of green energy and sustainable manufacturing, they'll be positioned well for that, as well as the opportunity to export through the Port of Charleston. That was a key part of their decision to come here, was the Port of Charleston. And when we talk economic development, we'll frequently say how fortunate we are to have the Port of Charleston and to have the International Airport in Charlotte. We're ideally located between both of those in a way that many counties are not located close proximity to them. So the time we spent together, again, we built ties and friendships. There you see our Fairfield County flag is now flying at their corporate headquarters inside the offices. This is part of the leadership team. They're moving to this country. Some of them already are in this country. They're looking for houses now in the region, and they'll be bringing 19 families over with them. Again, their commitment is real and deep coming to Fairfield County. I know, third strike.
One more time, buddy.
So what are the benefits strategically to Fairfield County? Well, it'll continue to diversify our local economy with advanced manufacturing. It'll strengthen nationally our U.S. and Turkish trade relations, and it'll position Fairfield County as a key player in global supply chains. And again, it opens the doors for direct future investment. One of the conversations that we had with this company was people that they work with, their peer companies and suppliers in Turkey, asking them why did they come here. And the conversation they've had with them has led to us having conversation of going back over there in the future to meet with them to explain why Fairfield County is the place they need to look to come. And that's something that they're very interested in doing because they want to bring more of their associated businesses and industries over here. So the next steps for us is to support what they're doing here, to launch the workforce training partnerships, to promote this county's advantages to these international investors, and to continue building long-term trade relationships with Turkey. And just in closing, Istanbul is an amazing city, a cultural capital for the world, for history, a beautiful city. And again, 5 days as their guests was an amazing experience for myself, but I think benefits this county for many years to come. So if any members of council have any questions about that trip, I'll be glad to answer them.
One thing, you may have said it, but I don't think we can emphasize it enough, that they invited y'all at 100% their expense, cost the county zero.
Yes, sir. They basically from Atlanta to Turkey, everything in Turkey, hotels, meals, back to Atlanta, they picked up all those costs. Yes, sir. They did not pay for my souvenirs, however.
Wow.
Thank you for that, Mr. Carpenter. Quick question. Someone asked me today if they came here because of Scout. Now, I know their product services a wide variety of industries, but was there any link to Scout being right down the road?
I'm not aware that that was a contributing factor. In fact, they made it very clear that they looked at a number of locations that would have been nowhere near Scout, in North Carolina, in other counties in South Carolina, and that it was very clear that Fairfield County, it wasn't because of Scout, it was because of who we are, where we are, and what we are is why they selected us over North Carolina in particular to come here.
I wanted to say one thing that they did tell us when they were looking at North Carolina and South Carolina, Fairfield County. They mentioned that Fairfield County, when they first came to Fairfield County, they knew that this was the location that they were going to be at. And Mr. Carpenter asked them, well, why did you look at North Carolina? They say, we had to make you wonder. So we're excited about it.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, for getting the name of our county correct.
It's my
Moving on. I also want to update the council and our community on a recent opportunity we had with the state accreditation team for our detention center. Our detention center is a very good facility, and it's one of those stories that I want to make sure the council and our community was aware of. So every year there's an annual audit of the facility. A team comes in from outside the county, from the state, to review, to go over issues that are there at the jail, to see how we've responded to them and to do a further evaluation of it. When we're done and they sat down, we've received the report, and the report is an exceptional report from them. It shows the fact that previously noticed issues have been addressed satisfactorily very well. The main issue we still have in front of us is staffing, as you would imagine to be the case. We still are always needing to hire a full contingent of detention officers, and that's something which, working with Director Squirewell and our HR team, to come up with a plan to try to move us in that direction. There were no facility issues at all. We've addressed all those much to their satisfaction. And a point, I've seen these for a number of years, these types of reports, and they put in a comment that I've never seen before. And the comment they put in is, the Fairfield County Detention Center is managed very well. The facility is very clean and smells good. And you may not be surprised, and that may not occur to you, but it is a real issue in detention centers. Ours is a very good. They privately commented to us how impressed they were with the facility, the way it's run, the way it's operated. So I just wanted to share that with you, that's a very good story that a lot of counties in the state do not have the ability to say. They're under consent orders, they're under terrible stories, and God willing, we won't be ever. But right now, we know that we've got a good facility. So I present that to the council.
comment.
Yeah, I think you said something about that, but I think they said that they could take us to some other counties that wouldn't hold a candle to this detention center. It was run so well. Everything was so good. I told them, that's the first time I've ever been in a detention center, and I hope it's the last one, too.
And another one of the things that was impressive, well, caught my eye also, was in my thought, I thought it was overpopulated, but they say it's not. They only have about, 66 prisoners there, and as Mr. Carpenter said, that they were really, really impressed with the way it was being ran. And to go into a detention center and see how clean it was and how well it smelled, and the prisoners were clean, and it was real impressive to me. Next is the clerk of council. None. Now we're down to council time. Any councilman wish to say anything?
Ruth, you know my name. Some days it is rough, though. No, I was going to congratulate Chris Jackson. He's already gone, but that's really amazing what he did as a young guy, man. That really is amazing. And I kind of asked him when he was leaving, come back up here. I said, "Now we're going to be able to keep you in Fairfield County." I hope so. But then I was going to ask him, if he was that good, could he do anything with Doug's head? I don't know about that. I couldn't resist that. But also I wanted to thank Kathy Falk and Hoof and Paul for all y'all you've done in the past and continue to do, and the work and the financial contributions both. We really do appreciate it. And thank also Katie Titus and all the committee for I know y'all put in a lot of hours and hard work, and we really do appreciate it. And y'all have done a great job, and we really thank you for that.
I was going to reserve my comments to each one of the members of the ad hoc committee to an email. I don't want to go as far as to say that I may speak too much, but I want the public as well as the council to know how important what you have just done is to the county. You've taken this opportunity to look at an ordinance intellectually, compassionately, and with your research and a background, knowing what you are talking about. Now, I had a tour of that animal shelter. Let me say, I was not happy being a member of Fairfield County at the time. So you're absolutely right, Ms. Titus, that each and every one, whether they're on the council or just a plain citizen, need to tour the animal shelter. It would change your mind. It would completely change your mind and how you think about the population of the animals. And a lot of us have our own private pets at home and that sort of thing. But after leaving there, you look at them differently. You want to take care of them. You want to do the right thing. You think you are doing the right thing. But the ordinance reveals some very telling truths to us about what we're not doing and what we're failing to do. And more importantly, what we're allowing other people to get away with doing. And we have to stop that. And I think this ordinance does that. It does. And I encourage each one of my fellow council members to read it in-depthly. I've read it 3 times. I've read it 3 times because it's so good. It is so good. And I applaud each and every one of the ad hoc committee members for the job that you did. I didn't attend all your meetings, but I attended most of them, and I listened intently, and I had education outside of your meetings. Kathy Falk, Boo Major, and some of the other people grabbed me by the hand and educated me and took me around and said, "Let me show you what this is really about." Now I understand. So I congratulate you again, and I thank you. I thank you for what you've done.
Mr. Kobach.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I would like to echo what Mr. Roof said, who is Fairfield County Councilman. I would like to thank Kathy Falk and Boo for everything you've done for animal care in this county and for the contributions you have made. Really appreciate that. I think Mr. Bright had a good suggestion to share some lessons learned at the annual conference, so I think we should do that, so I think that's a good suggestion. And Ms. Griffith, I too have been to that shelter twice. Ms. Shaw was gracious enough to spend a lot of time with me, and I toured it. I went to shadow one of the employees, and quite honestly, I could only last about 2 hours there. Two senses really get overwhelmed. One is your smell, and the other is the hearing. And I've got hearing problems to begin with, and that doesn't help it. But well aware of the issues, and we do have a problem. As I mentioned before, I want to make sure that we position ourselves with this ordinance to solve the problem, the root cause of the problem, and that I'll also be looking at the enforcement of that too. That's one thing we also need to keep our eye on. But thank you all for what you've done.
Swearingen.
Yes, I just want to say that a couple things. Do you think, Mr. Carpenter, we could get, as it was brought up, an update on the sewer plant, where that's going or whatever next time?
Yes, ma'am, that's actually scheduled. We've talked to the engineers about having a presentation made to us. We have a presentation that's going to go to the commission later this month, and then I would anticipate we could have that same presentation to the council, which would be, I think, the next week.
Okay, and the old admin building, are we doing anything with it, or?
Are we currently doing anything with it? No, ma'am.
Trying to, or?
Right now, I've had some very preliminary discussions with individuals that have expressed an interest in the building. Of course, we can't just cut a deal with someone. So part of what my desire is, you know, I'm in the final stages of looking for a deputy. And once a person is secured on the administration side there, that would be one of the tasks that the deputy would start working on. Is we actually have a number of properties that are probably surplus in the county, and what are we going to do with them? At least have a plan for those, either to use them for some productive purpose or to get rid of them. We have several empty buildings right now that are providing nothing to us except cost. So that is one of my plans, and one of the anticipated outcomes of getting a deputy is someone that can be tasked with that.
Okay, thank you. And I was just going to say that I've completed my second level of whatever it was. You got the first level and you got your second level, leadership, whatever, while I was at the Isle of Palms. But the last class that I took, Mr. Carpenter and Don and myself were there, and the three presenters, one of them was Clay Killian, which y'all know was here, and it was how to do anything from start to finish, whether you're going to do a building, whether you're going to do a park or whatever, and it was very, very informative, and it was very, very good. So there are some very good classes, and there's a lot of stuff to be learned, but that one was, you know, those 3-hour classes, you just like, it was over with. I mean, we just so thoroughly enjoyed learning what we learned there, but thank you for letting us go. We do appreciate you for that. I'm done.
Anyone else? Okay, thank you. Okay, now there's executive session, none. Can I get a motion?
Motion to adjourn.
Been motion and second that we adjourn. All in favor? Let the record show 7-0. We are now adjourned.